Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and once I learn to speak English, I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. Help me welcome my co-host, Cleo the SEER, and welcome all of you to Kitchen Table Issues. Hello, Cleo. How are you?
I am so good. It's just a beautiful day out, and made it through the long holiday with the 4th of July, and that was horrible for my dog, but
Yes.
it was fine for me. We're just the thing about fireworks and animals we've got signs all over up here that says it's illegal to blow off fireworks, and nobody ever pays any attention to it. I'm like, why do you even bother with that?
I know.
But and then they continue on into Saturday and into Sunday, and the dog's going crazy, and we got her on doggy downers to try to help her out. But other than that, hey, everything's fine. And Trump is just being an idiot, so I love that too.
Yes, yeah. In other words, yeah, situation normal, same shit, different day.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just going to say hi to Jackie B, Irene Oswald, Elizabeth, Bern O'Malley, Mimi Nee. Who else do we have here? Connie B, Joan Baker, Lois Tucker. Thank you, guys. Leslie, hello, Leslie. Nice to see you here. Welcome to all of you. We've got a few things that I thought that we could talk about today, because the news never fails to amuse. Right. Hello, Elsia, Kathy G. Nice to see you here. So, what was in the news, I think, yesterday and maybe even part of today, is that Elon Musk has said that, yes, he will go ahead with this new political party that he's calling America First, because, being such a patriotic American, who better than him to start a new party, right? Oh, wait, he wasn't born in the U.S. Rules and regulations get in the way of things, like, my goodness. So I thought that we might take a look and see how far will this go? Will it actually go anywhere, or are people going to look at it and say, Elon Musk? Yeah, I remember that heartfelt display that he showed. I remember the chainsaw. I remember the Doge cutting this and cutting that and blah blah blah. Are they actually going to follow him? And Elizabeth, I do have your question starred. Yeah. So let's look. How will this new party go? Oh my. Yes, Bern, he can't dance. Wow. Well, he certainly has the money to do it.
Yes.
And, yeah, he's definitely going to go ahead with it and get successful outcome. So yeah, he's absolutely going to put the money behind it and start this new party. He is an internal adversary, and oddly enough, this deck is from Australia, but look at the flag. It's behind there. That's the American flag.
Right.
So yeah, this is because the Republicans didn't didn't cow down to him. Um, he's going to go after Trump and his ilk. They've tried talking about it. It's not going to work. That he may not get a whole lot of support, but yeah, he's going to take some Republicans with him. Yeah, and yes, Bern, it is Trish James. Yeah, what'd you get?
Well, he'd be much better off if he just went for the independent party, instead of trying to start something all new called the American Party or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's okay. It's really okay, I think, that he's doing this. And he does have the money to pursue something like this. But it will take a long time to create a whole different party. Um,
Mhm.
I've always thought that they should start recognizing the independence people more than they are. But most people think independence is pretty much democratic, and it won't. If it takes off ever, it won't happen in Trump's term of coming
Mm.
up with a whole new party and people trying to say, okay, now I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, I'm now the American Party. No, but Musk will put a bunch of money into it, and
I think his idea is um, to take seats away from the Republicans during the midterms. Now, he doesn't need to have a party that is going to put through a lot of candidates. He doesn't need to take over the whole country. He just needs to take over some key states. And there was a video earlier that David Terrell by the Bay had put out regarding this, and he had a very, very good explanation in terms of what it was that Elon Musk was trying to do. He doesn't need to run someone as president of the America First Party or whatnot. He just needs to take over a few key states to switch the House and possibly the Senate. And considering how narrow the margin is right now, it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be huge. So
I just don't see it taking off this. If he wanted to do this, he should have started years ago. But he's trying to. I don't know. They're just playing games. I mean, nobody's going to take that party seriously right now because we're in the middle of other stuff that is just so critical that I do like the idea that he likes to take away from the Republican Party, but something like that can actually go in the wrong direction, and it could affect the Democrats, it could affect the Republicans, it could affect the independents. I just think that he's trying to figure out something to do to probably irritate Trump a little bit, and also that he's feeling like he gave loyalty to Trump, and Trump has turned on him. So he's taken the whole thing very personally. Especially, well, why wouldn't he? $300 million. Yeah, I can understand why he'd be personal about that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I just don't see it as a big issue right now. But he may use it as a speaking point. He may use it just to get things riled up and make the Republicans wonder. Because a lot of the Republicans that are backing Trump are in just as much trouble as Trump is.
Yes.
So the other thing is I'm wondering if Musk doesn't see the writing on the wall and he's in a little bit of trouble too, and it might do him good to separate himself from the Republican Party. So that might be the other thing he's up to.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't take either Trump or Musk at face value. The idea that, oh, they're fighting and now they're enemies. No, now they're making up. Now they're this. They are each looking after their own interests and making sure that they have the goods on the other, so that if push came to shove, it's a matter of who's going to throw who under the bus. But there's his Musk's idea of wanting to have a party that represents the 80% of the people that are in the middle, that are the independents and whatnot, that aren't either Republican or Democrat and so on. You're a day late and a dollar short, bud.
Yeah, but it does do stuff. It does throw things off. If you had a prominently Republican person being voted in, and then you throw in another party, they could just detract from those votes.
Yes.
Of course, that's the kind of thing this stuff does.
It does. Yeah, it does, because people are frustrated, so they will be looking for alternatives, and he can offer that alternative for those people who say, oh my God, there is no way on God's green earth that I could ever vote for a Democrat. Oh, but I'll vote for Elon, or the guy that Elon is putting forward, because let's face it, he can, well, I don't know if he can run himself. He is a
foreigner
citizen, but his citizenship, he didn't really get it legally. So the other thing that I thought we could take a look at is Tesla made it very clear to him a couple months ago that, look, you're either in the government or you're CEO of Tesla. You cannot do both. Right? Make up your mind. What are you going to do? That's when he apparently, quote unquote, stepped away from the government. He is now putting himself back in it. Is Tesla going to say enough is enough? You're being replaced.
Yeah. I think they're already trying to go there.
Yeah.
But I think that because of the money, I think that they'll have a hard time doing that. Mm-hmm. The problem is now the Tesla name is so connected to Musk.
Yes.
That, they're having big problems. They're not selling cars, and they've got a bad name. People are still protesting in front of the Tesla dealerships. And then when they run into some problems like recalls, I think they've had some current recalls. What do you get on that? Do you think that they'll actually dismiss him as a CEO?
Yeah, I think that they probably that they will. I get the power of persuasion. He is trying to put this to the board in terms of, well, no, I'm just kind of, personally backing people, but no, I'm going to continue to work on Tesla. He's working on the people in Tesla who can be easily bought to try to get them to come around to his way of thinking. I don't think that it's going to work, and I think that they will. Successful outcome again. I think that they are going to replace him and say, look, your loyalties lie somewhere else. So, we've talked about this. We've made it clear what we wanted you to do. You haven't really done that. So yeah, he's been dodging the question when they've been asking him what he's going to do. So I do think that knowing how connected he is, I mean, he has made himself the face of Tesla. He has made himself the person that, you automatically think of him when you think of Tesla.
Yeah.
So it could be difficult to kind of extricate him from that. But then again, maybe that's exactly what they need to do to turn the company around. So,
Well,
yeah.
I think the damage has been done, and even if they kick him out right now, that's just not gonna. I don't think the company is just gonna come bounding back because of that. Um,
No, it's been tainted. It's been tainted.
And I mean, I can't believe how many Teslas there are on the road. I mean,
I know.
I can't drive down the street without running into one. Not running in physically, but
Physically, yeah. I
seeing
know.
that the Teslas are out there. I mean, people do like that car. So
Yeah.
yeah, but the truck is just weird. And I guess there was or just recently a recall for that truck for something, but
Oh, that is such an ugly looking thing. It really is ugly. Byrne says they'll have to rebrand and call the cars Edison. Anything but, yeah, but Tesla. Absolutely. Oh, wow. Homer's car is better designed. Yes, Barbie, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. So now, I noticed there's a few of you that are talking about Ted Cruz, who took off to Greece. And, there could be some discussion of whether he's back, and that did he come back because of the flooding, or is he still in Greece? I don't know. This is news to me that he was in Greece, but
yeah.
I absolutely wouldn't doubt it. And if why would he need to come back for the flood?
Because that's Ted's MO. Ted's MO is, oh my God, there's some problems here in Texas. I got to get the hell out of town. And so he goes to another country.
Yeah.
So, that's just Ted Cruz. It's just amazing to me that they continually vote him back in. I mean, what has he done? How has he contributed? Nothing. How has he helped at all? I don't see it.
Okay. And Connie B says, yeah, he was in Greece and came back on Sunday. He was on the news earlier today in Texas. Wow. And what is his message? Thoughts and prayers. No one could have predicted this. It's a tragedy beyond belief. Some of the same things that Greg
that everybody says. And even Trump, as much as he's sent help out there and stuff, they said, well, when are you going there? And he said, well, probably next Friday. I would just be in the way right now. I'm thinking, you just don't have enough compassion or anything else for the people to go in there right now and show your support. And, I know that he's sending people in, but any other president, can you imagine Biden not immediately going there? And that's that's what he would do.
Exactly. Exactly. And yes, Byrne, Doge cut the weather services. And yeah, exactly. You fire the people who have the experience, who have the knowledge, who are able to look past just the obvious, who have years of experience in predicting these things and saying, okay, well, you know what, if it does this by this point, chances are very good it's going to go somewhere else. You have gotten rid of all your experience. So the people that are left, I don't know who could have predicted this. I don't know, maybe someone with experience. Someone who's been around longer than 5 minutes.
Well, it wasn't there some woman that tried to some Republican that tried to blame Biden on this, and that Biden and the Democrats have been seeding clouds and trying to change the weather. And I mean, this thing about changing the weather and interfering with the weather has been going on for at least 2 decades. We just every time I hear it, I'm like, "Oh, are we talking that old story again?
Yeah,
Please."
exactly.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
and
And
so they take something like this that is just horrific, horrible, so much loss of life, so much destruction, and turn it into something that it's absolutely not. And plus, their input that doesn't help anybody. That helps
no,
nobody.
no, and the idea that well, it's Biden's fault. Hello, Biden isn't in charge, right? One of the
Well,
things that
from what he's done in the past, or like I said, seeding the clouds and doing something to affect the weather. No,
yeah,
we're affecting the weather with our air pollution and our cars and our the carbon and all the you know
yeah,
we're the ones that have caused this weather pattern that's going hitting the whole hitting the whole world,
yes,
because
yeah,
we have to stop polluting the air and so many other things. I mean, it's really piling up on the kind of things that we have done,
it is.
especially the garbage dumps in the ocean. Oh my God, it's just horrible. That affects the weather. And the weather is changing just because the earth is changing too. But
Yes,
it doesn't help to say something like Biden and the Democrats got all the why in the hell would they even want to do that?
I
Why?
know,
You
I
know,
know, I
it's
know.
so stupid.
No, it is. But you know what? The people who drank the Kool-Aid are going to believe it, and they're going to say, "Yep, absolutely, it's the Dems. It's the evil Dems that are doing that. The Dems aren't in charge. Your folks, the people that you voted in, the people that have the R behind the name, they're the ones that are responsible for this. So, yeah, it's not good. And I think you mentioned that you got. Oops, sorry, I just wanted to star that. That you got notification. There's more than 100
Yeah,
dead now. As yeah,
in Texas.
last yeah
Yeah,
last I heard was when it was at 91. It said 27 of them were children.
yeah.
I'm
That it has been all on the news about the campsites for the kids, and that I God, it's just such a horrible thing when you think about all those children being swept away in floodwaters, and
yes.
they're gone, and it's just terrible.
Exactly. And maybe it is entirely possible that maybe this was something that, couldn't have been predicted. It is equally possible that it could have been. That, the people
Oh
with the
no, it
experience.
definitely could have been.
Yes.
He stripped a bunch of people out of the weather thing, whatever that is, and just, some other department that he just didn't think was
Yes.
necessary.
Yeah.
It's just like when he ripped up the rules for how to deal with the pandemic.
Yes.
You just didn't need that. So the weather thing, well, we don't need that.
No,
And
no. I
sure
mean,
enough, and who was it right here? From Florida, Joan. She said she's concerned about hurricane season this year, and
yes. Yeah. Yeah. I
she
I
needs,
did star that. So, yeah, we can
yeah,
certainly.
she needs to know when to board up her house. Well, and she depends on the weatherman to tell her what's going on, and we've always had that, and for
Yes.
some reason now we don't.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
so these people were not at all prepared for anything like this.
No,
Um, and
no, not. Not at all. And Bonnie, I agree. If Dems controlled the weather, Mar-a-Lago would have been wiped out by a hurricane 10 years ago. Absolutely. So, yeah, totally. And people are scientists for a reason.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Scientists look at facts. They're not there to give you what they think might happen. They are there to tell you that based on previous information and what has happened in the past, the likelihood of this happening again are over 70%, over 90%, in the 20% range. They're not winning any popularity contests. They do things based on facts.
Right. It's
And
not politically motivated
no.
in any way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it shouldn't be. So yeah. I don't think that this is going to work out very well for Greg Abbott. Probably, I mean, Ted Cruz, oh geez. I I am upset by the fact that even though he is an American, that he was born up here in Canada. That upsets me to no end. I think someone needs to find that proverbial eraser, get on his birth certificate and erase Canada off of there. Yeah, no, he's not Canadian. Um, so the other thing that Burnham Alley says that river rose 26 feet in less than an hour. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's just.
like, oh,
Now, they probably could not have predicted that, but at least they could have predicted we've got some heavy, heavy rains coming in. So
get
you've
the
got
high ground.
24 hours to get out of there, to
Yeah.
do what you can. We see it hit because, it's all the weather, the whole weather system has been over the years. It's just amazing what they can predict and how far off they can predict things. And they can see it from all these things coming down from space. So yes, they definitely would have been able to be helpful if those departments were still around. Now, I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know the whole ins and outs of what the weather is in Texas, or if the department that, suddenly lost federal funding, but it just seems like everything else has. And I know a lot of people are complaining about why weren't they told. They had no idea that this was going to happen like this. Well, they can also say that it's something that doesn't happen very often, but the general flooding of that area, that happens. That happens. It's not that unusual.
There
Yeah,
you
I've
go.
seen many times before. It's in a,
Yeah.
and that this was just a much, much worse one. And
Yes.
do you think that these kids would have gone to camp if somebody would have told them, by the way, it's coming up in the next 24, 48 hours, we're going to have an awful lot of rain and it's not looking good, and that isn't a flood zone.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's just,
Yes.
it's just, I just notice even things in our state, in Washington State, that we have to just, things are closing down. Businesses, small businesses are
Yes.
closing down. Health facilities are closing down. The one that really bothers me the most is we had a little, it's like a clinic hospital kind of thing for babies that are born addicted. And they just recently, in the last week, closed it down. And I just, what? Babies, we're talking about babies, and there's no money. There's no money for it. So those babies,
Hey, Gerald.
they need extra special care,
Absolutely.
and they probably, if they may not survive. I mean, it's just,
Yes.
it's horrible, and Trump doesn't give a shit.
No, not at all. And Norm Gilbert said that they had warnings that they dismissed.
How serious were those mornings? I mean, why would they dismiss it? I mean, like I said, I don't know what's really going on down in Texas, but
Yeah. It's no matter how you look at it, innocent people lost their lives because politicians are more concerned about lining their pockets than they are with looking after the citizens. And thank you, Rose Blue. That was one of the things that I had mentioned to Cleo, and I was trying to get a little more information on it. That, yeah, as a result of this, big, beautiful bill, 6 hospitals are closing in Nebraska because they rely
Federal funding.
on federal funding. So, yeah, you want to make sure that you're not that far from a hospital. Otherwise, yeah, you're done. You're done. That is awful. Awful.
And like I said, right now it's just there is one. I got it. I can't remember which hospital it is, but it's in our area, in the Seattle area, or in and around that area. That yeah, they're going to have to. They're right now they're laying off people and doing what they can to try to stay in business, but it's really tough.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is.
And there's just so many. I don't know. There's so many things that the federal funding that the government has taken away, or that Trump himself has taken away. It's
Yes.
just hurting everybody, especially Medicaid, and especially
Oh, wow.
the food stamps. It's not.
Yes.
You're not going to help take care of people, but you're going to let them starve to death too. Help me, God! What is going on that this
Yes.
can even be something that we're considering?
I know.
35 hospitals in Kentucky are closing. 35. Oh my God.
Wow. That is mind-boggling. That
Yeah.
is mind-boggling. It really is. Ugh.
And they're all looking around right now going, oh, look, hey, the economy's doing just fine, even though we've got all these tariffs and stuff. Everything's going fine. You idiots. Because everybody, especially places like Walmart and Amazon and the bigger companies, have bought up as much stuff as they could prior to the tariffs. So it's an artificial thing that makes it look like things are doing okay. We actually haven't even experienced the worst of the tariffs.
No, and that is supposed to come down after the 2026 midterms, assuming that you're going to have midterms in 2026.
Oh no, it's going to come way before that. I'm talking about in a month or so that you will see the prices start to skyrocket. I'm already seeing prices go in the grocery stores going much, much higher. And I'm like, just when Biden had things under control and this fool comes in and just destroys everything Biden has done, and actually very proud of it, hates Biden, hates Obama, hates the Democrats. What kind of an idiot do we have in here? They have got to do something about him.
Yep.
And I think it is coming. I think this month will be the telling month of where finally something happens, and maybe you won't see it till August or September, but and I do believe it's in the works right now because it just gets worse. Taxpayers sure pay for politicians' medical.
Yes, they do. You know what? I'm a firm believer in lead by example. So if you take it from the regular people, then you don't get it yourself. If most of your people lose it, you lose it too. Yeah. Okay. The other thing that I heard today was apparently, Netanyahu is in DC. He's having dinner with Trump later on tonight. The interesting part was that he is being joined by his wife and one of their adult sons. And the first thought that came to my mind is, oh, is somebody planning on fleeing somewhere? Because the idea of, I mean, he doesn't need to meet with Trump. They can do this over the phone.
Well, this is the third time he's met with Trump since Trump's been there. I mean, yeah, he's always coming and meeting with Trump about something.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trump said that he's being very firm with Netanyahu. And Netanyahu said that his conversation with Trump can definitely help advance the outcome of, maybe peace and so on. Okay. For the love of Pete, how about stop killing innocent Palestinians? I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Could maybe that work instead of having to fly all the way to talk to your buddy Donald? Maybe stop killing innocent people. So anyway, I thought that we might throw a few cards on. Is there more to this than just I need to talk to him in person. What do you need to talk to him in person for? Pick up the damn phone. It's So what are they doing? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Oh, and Elle says his son wants to go to Harvard, does he? Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Norm. Okay, what they are discussing is shaping the future. And the future, I'm thinking here more the future of Israel, because health regulation. I think that Netanyahu has been diagnosed with something, and he's going to be using that as his out. Oh, I have to stay in America for treatment. I've got this horrible, awful disease, so I have to. It's hidden cause and external influence. Plus, I think he's also very concerned that Iran put out the fatwa against both Trump and Netanyahu. And for those of you who don't know, a fatwa is it's a formal ruling or edict that is issued by a recognized religious leader, and it just kind of clarifies things that apply to Islamic law or Sharia law. Now, don't forget when Salman Rushdie, when he published his book, and that was 25 years ago, they put out a fatwa against him, and he had to go into hiding because people read it as time to off this guy. So I think maybe Netanyahu is a little scared, and he might have just been diagnosed with something that he's going to try to use as an excuse to extricate himself out of this situation. Yeah. What do you say? What do you get?
Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to digest what you were just talking about. Also, is Trump's involved in businesses that would be connected to Netanyahu?
Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm
thinking that it probably has more to do with not the wars and not that kind of thing, but more about how can Trump somehow benefit from all of this?
Yeah.
Is this also where, was it Gaza that he wanted to build a resort?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think it's got more to do, as far as Trump's concerned.
Yes.
He's happy to see the guy because he wants to find out how can he make some more money and how can he put this resort together. And it probably has less to do with the critical things at hand with war and stuff, because you're right. Yeah, they're not concerned about how many people got killed.
No, not in the least. Yeah, Jared Kushner is Netanyahu's godson. Bibi and Jared's dad are very close.
Oh,
And
God, I did not know that. Oh, my God. No, Jesus.
yeah, and Jared's dad, remember, he's a convicted felon. He did time.
Yeah.
Imagine, isn't it amazing how all these felons tend to flock together?
Yeah, they do.
Entertainment purposes.
For birds of a feather, they
Yes.
just.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And how do you, if it is true that Netanyahu's son wants to go to Harvard, how do you say no? We're going to, or how do you make Harvard accept him and not accept other international students? I really hope that Harvard says, sorry, no can do. Yeah. Try again next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. So I do want to take a look here now. Elizabeth had mentioned earlier, I've heard some mention of an interim group taking leadership of our administration, but I wonder if you have a feeling that this might become a new constitutional thing.
I totally see that happening as well.
Yes.
There will be an interim group of probably made up of politicians that we're all fully aware of and that we trust, and that we know that Trump has never said a good word about any of them.
Yes.
The constitutional thing. Actually, I think it'd be more about people getting together and following the Constitution as it is right now. I'm not trying to change anything, but there's some stuff coming up with this interim group. This will be happening during the time when all the Republicans that have supported Trump in his illegal escapades,
yes,
his illegal activity, that they will be, busy finding out exactly who's in trouble and who's going to prison and all that. Well, in the meantime, you've got another group of people probably sitting in the White House that are going to try to figure out how to put this all back together and make it right again. But it won't be that group. I mean, they've got to figure out who is the president now. And to me, it comes out again with Kamala Harris. And I had mentioned this on Polyterology.
Yes.
That my guides had told me, hold on, I got to get the word again. Oh, there it is. That Kamala Harris would be elected by acclamation, which is basically a non-contested, because when they try, this is what I'm thinking. Now, maybe I shouldn't try to put all these pieces together, but I'm always looking for how could this possibly be? So I'm thinking that from all the election interference and all the stuff that they're figuring out about the satellites, and that probably a lot of this information has been destroyed.
Yes.
Because Musk either brought down, shot down, or sent the satellites into cyberspace, never to be seen again. That information is probably gone. but they don't have to actually have the actual votes. They're going by common sense as well as
Yes.
electronically how this thing has been tabulated. So I think they're going to use that. And so that thing, that word of acclamation,
Affirmation. Yeah.
which that does happen, but that's never happened in a presidential election. It happens like
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, never before has a convicted felon been elected president.
that's true too. That's true too. And basically, it's like if you have a board of people that they all run for this, run for
Yes.
10 different positions, that at some point and I guess they're doing this in California since 2021 or 2022. They're using this more where they're just saying, there's no sense of having an election. All these people are going to be elected.
Yes.
It's not an election for the county or something. I'm talking about a business
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
elected by acclamation is not a common term in government that I know of. But actually, what was crazy about this is I had asked my guides about certain things, and finally I just gave up on them. I said, I had it with you guys. You don't really tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
And so out of the blue, I think it was like last week or so, this thing came to me, and I go, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "Google it," which they're always telling me to Google it. So for me to come up with that word and that actually exists, that's really weird. I've never heard of it before. It's my guides that told me this, and they said she would be elected by acclamation. They said,
Yes.
but if it's not exactly like that, it's the same thing, which would
Same
be
thing. Yeah.
an uncontested election, because
Yes.
they have always told me, always, that she won the election.
Yes.
And we got in a little bit of arguing about that too. I said, "Well, she sure in the hell is not the president." And they go, "Well, yeah, no, she is."
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what they're talking about. Well, now as time goes by, I figure out what they're talking about, and it makes excuse me, makes perfect sense
Yes.
of
Yeah.
why they would tell me that kind of a word, because that made me have to search for some things to find out what does that mean, elected by acclamation. It
Yes.
fits right in, and it fits right in with what Sterling has been talking about. Now, he doesn't seem to be mentioning this as much,
Yes.
but the decertification, and he's
Yeah.
also said that Kamala is not really interested in this right now. She's not. It's not that she's given up on it or anything. It's an impossibility. She is not thinking in these terms because this is just way out there.
Yes.
And how could this possibly happen? But when it does, trust me, that woman will be right on it. She is so sharp and so smart. And I'm pretty sure she's probably in touch with other people behind the scenes that are just kind of watching each little thing that
Yeah.
the Republicans are doing that is just totally wrong and goes totally against the Constitution. And these are all people that support the Constitution. They live by it. They have all their lives.
Exactly.
So I do see, but that is not till 2026. And so, but we've got a lot of 2025 left to go. And that's what we're seeing. We're just seeing the beginning of where this is going. I mean,
Yes.
to me, the worse it gets with Trump and the Republicans, the better I feel about it.
Yes. The closer we get.
Yeah, I don't feel good about that. We're going to have to pay more money, and that
Yeah.
the hospitals are closing. It's just all horrible and terrible. But the worse it gets for them, the worse they do, the closer we get to making a change and taking them out of office.
Exactly. And they do need to be removed. So now Joan Baker, asked earlier, she said, "I'm concerned about hurricane season year. I live in Florida, used to be comfortable with getting a heads up so we could plan on whether I have to board up my house." Yes, without that. And I actually saw a clip of of a weatherman in Florida who, what was he pointing? He was pointing out he had a videotape that was up, and it was from a number of years ago. And he's talking about a particular hurricane that was coming in, and he said, it's gonna move. Don't worry about it. It's gonna move. We're gonna get some weather, but it's gonna move. And he was pointing that out in the video while he was talking about, I used to be able to give you that information. I can no longer give you that information. I can no longer tell you what things are going to happen because the people that I relied on, the people that I worked with, the people that we shared the information with are no longer there. So, can I give you a heads up? Well, I used to could. I can't anymore. So, how are things going to go in Florida over the next little while? There are going to be a couple storms that are going to hit, and that are going to do damage. The one thing that maybe Florida has going for it is the fact that being a blue state, you just might get some federal help on that.
No, a red state.
Oh, Florida. Sorry, is a red state. Yes, Mark. He was a weatherman for 38 years. There are absolutely environmental concerns that people rely on that information, and they're not going to be able to get all that information. So, anytime that you hear that there is that there's a storm or a hurricane or something coming in, err on the side of caution, and prepare for the worst and anticipate the best. I think that there's even in Florida, they're dodging the question. I do think a couple storms are going to hit Florida and do damage.
Well, and that's very common for Florida. And also the Floridians are used to having this type of weather pattern. But I would just think with Mar-a-Lago being right there, that Trump would want to know too what's going on. Hopefully the people in Florida will get a little heads up, because a lot of times those hurricanes and stuff that come through there, they go right up the coast. So, there's so many other people affected besides just Florida. So, I mean, if I was living there right now, I'd be pretty nervous about it, but just, hopefully, since that is a common thing to be looking for in Florida, that you will know that, what's going on with that, and you'll be able to have an advance notice.
If all of a sudden you see someone boarding up Mar-a-Lago, head for the hills.
Well, start getting your own boards up too.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And interesting. Yeah, Susie Cat person from Baltimore said, now that the big killer budget bill has been signed into law by Felon 47, what is going to happen when he and his entire regime are removed from office? Will the bill become null and void? It is going to become, parts of it are going to become null and void even before they are put into place. I think that the minute that he is no longer of use to the people that are calling the shots, Yeah, he'll be gone, and all of a sudden there will be amendments and revisions and so on.
Well, and there's been a number of things already. Like,
Yes,
he wants to sell off the federal land,
lands. Yes,
and I think that's already been stopped, at least in Washington State. I think it's been stopped.
yes,
Um, yes, some of what he's doing isn't going to work out, and the states. Thank God for our governors across the country. They're all doing what they can to try to stop some of this stuff. But the thing about Medicaid, they can't seem to get that stopped. And the fact that the Republicans in the House and in the Senate have actually backed this up, this is really horrible. So,
yeah,
but there is some things they right now, I can't, there's over 100 different lawsuits across the country
yes,
against what Trump's trying to do, plus screwing around with all the tariffs and then making more tariffs, and just, he's got such a jumbled mess going. It's hard to keep up with what they're going to do or what they're not going to do. But
yeah,
part of it is just it's a scare tactic, like 145% tariff on China. And then
yes,
the next day it's like, psych, no, never mind.
yeah, yeah,
We're going to do half of that, or we're
yeah.
going to do even less than that. Now it's Japan and somewhere else
Oh,
there.
Korea. It was
Korea. Yeah. One of the
yeah,
Koreas. Yeah. They're just, some things will be stopped. Some things will be halted. Some things will go back and forth, back and forth. But when all is said and done, when we're living in peace and harmony again, which will be next year, things will start to go back the way they were. But I'm telling you, this man has made such a giant mess. It's
yes,
not going to happen overnight. So we just got to be prepared to kind of live with the injustices, basically, that Trump's imposed upon the entire country, because
yeah.
he wants to
The
bankrupt
entire
the
world.
country.
Yeah,
So, this will come about little by little, and I think by 2026 you're going to see a whole new thing developing where you can see a light at the end of the tunnel. Right
mhm,
now, it's just touch and go. Like I said, like all these governors that are suing the administration for
yes,
things that they have done, and things, and different courts. If you've seen different Supreme Courts
yes,
from state Supreme Courts are saying, no, you can't just take away this funding. You can't just close this down. You're affecting many people, and it affects not only their lives, their ability to earn a living, to have a place to live and all that. You can't do this. Now, and
yes.
Trump and his administration, they constantly fight those too. So it's just one legal battle after another.
Yeah,
Some
it,
things
it,
get
it
stopped
is.
and some things don't.
Yeah, it is. And remember, there is a lesson behind all this. When you hear people, particularly, yes, we're going to hear from the people in Texas about how difficult this is, and how they need help, and so on and so forth. Um, yes, they're right, they do. I don't think that I don't think that it would be an awful thing to point out to them that this is your government. You voted for this. You voted. You consciously decided that someone who is going to make your life difficult is the person that you want to cast your vote for. So, while I can commiserate, and I can say, yes, you're right, this is an awful thing. I'm also not willing to let them off the hook. That this is what happens when you put criminals in charge of things that
And
That's
well,
what
and,
she
and
said.
here, Deanne from DFL Rock says, I don't believe Trump is in charge. Are you talking about his own mental
Oh,
facilities or in charge of his own self? Or in charge, are you
no.
saying he's not really running the country?
No, he's not. He is a mouthpiece, and that's all that he is a mouthpiece. There are people behind him that are, he's a puppet. He really truly is a puppet. And now that, now that he has gotten them closer to that project 2025 and all these things, um, just be ready for when they start whispering about the fact that, well, he's we may have to take a look, and he is getting a little older and his mind isn't working quite so well, and blah blah blah. Just look for the people that are going to start talking against him. They had to stick with him to get this done. Now that it is, they can get rid of the figurehead. Yeah. And Jackie, I agree. Miller has to go. There is a long list of people that have to go. Yeah. Pam Bondi has to go. Because remember when she said a couple months ago that the Epstein file was on her desk? She's going through the Epstein file. Well, guess what? There's nothing in the Epstein file. Nothing. There's nothing there. There's no records. There's no pictures. There's nothing there. Interesting. Interesting. And like I was telling Cleo, when my son pointed that out to me, my response was, Epstein. Oh, no, she was talking about Epstein. And he said, oh, Boris. Boris said, okay, all right, now it makes total sense. So,
Yeah, it's interesting that should all disappear because it has Trump's name all over it.
yes.
He was right there with them. We've seen the pictures. Why in the world would we not think that there's, please, we know what it was. I think that they're going to think that if they say, oh, there's nothing there, we can't find it, we can't locate it, that everybody's going to forget about it. Nobody forgets about it. Just so they don't even forget about the 34 felonies that he's, guilty of.
Yeah.
But
listen, if they can still talk about Hunter Biden's computer, they can talk about Trump and Epstein. Yeah. One doesn't depend on the other. Anyway, folks, we are just over an hour. Thank you to each and every one of you who has joined us and spent part of your afternoon with us. I appreciate it very much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, not only to my channel, but Cleo's as well, which is down in the description of the video. And just very quickly, anything that you've got coming up, Cleo, that you want to highlight?
Let's see. It's not a very busy week for me. I think I've got a polyterology, or let's see. Oh, yes. No, I don't have a polyterology. Cool Corn Oracle on Friday, which is personal readings. And then on Wednesday, I won't be there, but my sister's doing Reveal the Future, and she's always looking for people to contribute to that because that's just a kind of collective consciousness trying to do the right thing and get the right vibrations going. And it certainly helps if you're feeling a little bit down about this stuff and overwhelmed by it. You might want to try that. That's I think that's at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday. And let's see.
Yeah, right in time for Sisters of the Mystical Tarot.
Oh, okay. Well, those, that one's a good one too. I love it. I love the show that you guys do with that. So, but that's about what I've got going. I'll probably not see anybody again until Friday for the Cool Crone Oracle for private readings, just regular readings, not
regular readings. Perfect.
But you know me. Sometimes I just go ahead and start talking about politics anyway.
and that's fine. and that's fine. Yeah, and if you guys want to know what I'm up to, I generally post my schedule on in the posts on the main YouTube page, and you can scroll down and see what I'm up to every day and where I'm going to be or who's going to be with me, and take it from there. So, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support and subscribing to our channels. And Cleo, we will see you. When are we doing this again? On the 21st, July 21st.
Oh, okay. All right.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. We'll see you all later. Bye for now.